See if we missed anything at the beach. Holmes's Witcher vision doesn't show anything. Yeah, this is maddening. I know we're missing a clue. We're definitely missing one because we have one that doesn't pair up to anything yet. And this encampment might be where the Mexicans were sort of like holding down for a while, waiting for the right moment to strike. Because look, the still smouldering ashes means they only broke camp like this morning or last night even. Ooh, this is interesting. First time I've noticed there's actually what looks like blood there. Look at that. It could be a wine stain as well. They could have been using that as a table. Could be blood. So blood was spilled here.
The whole train just disappeared. It's unbelievable.
How the hell else do we do this? Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna literally do the equivalent of pixel hunting in a point and click game where you just like start at the top and just work your way down like there's something here, I know there is. But it's in 3D space, making it even more difficult. Nothing in the warehouse we need to grab. Nope.
The rail is rusted and looks old, but the railway is still usable.
What's interesting to me is that there's no conclusion yet where the Mexicans aren't angry, like there's no grudge that leads to an actual where is the train, right? It gives you two options, but only one of them seems to lead to a conclusion so far. I want to see if I can make something out of that. So if the train passes Chesterfield, it must be sunk. Because on the map, there's nowhere else it can go after Doncaster to have been able to be concealed. The only place is before Doncaster. So the train didn't go through Doncaster. Like, there's no possibility it could have gone past. That only makes sense if it cannot be sunk. But we only have rail to the quarry or rail to the mines. Which again still makes Doncaster invalid. Because this is wrong. But we can say that it's in the mines. But if it was no grudge and the Chileans were left on intentionally, maybe? It still doesn't lead to anything. The only option is that they are angry. And they sealed them in the mine. Just don't want to draw that conclusion until we can pair this up with the final clue. And he's already told us what it was. He told us it was a prototype invention of his that makes electricity. So how do we get that into this clue space? Because that'll put another node on the board, and that could change everything. I'm starting to think I had this problem with the last time I played this game as well. I remember this case now giving me a little bit of grief when it comes to putting the clues together. Not trying to form a conclusion, but trying to find all the clues. And I don't remember if I did it or not. We'll work our way back up the stations again, at the very least. But I mean, I personally believe it's in the mine, and it was, you know, it was revenge, and they sealed them in. It's like, well, fine, you want the mine so badly? Take it. You know. But then again, they wouldn't be able to buy the mine after. I mean, I guess they would be able to. Then they could dispose of the evidence properly. But still. You'd think that the Mexicans would at least want the mine afterwards. Nothing in here that we haven't looked at yet.
Ah, will I ever get any peace?
It's a really weird dartboard. It's a noodle scratcher. And he's literally the only person to talk to here. I think we've definitely served, all our purpose has been served here at Chesterfield by putting this together. Testing the theory as to whether or not a train could have been faked. So I think that's everything to do at Chesterfield done. So that just leaves us trying to get the very angry Mr. Robinson to talk to us again. This guy here is still silent as the grave. Can't talk to him.
I will not move from here until I receive my refund.
It's a scandal! An absolute outrage!
Don't touch anything, please.
Oh! We found it. What is
The
this?
insurance policy for Robinson's machine. A significant sum.
Ooh. Insurance organised by Thomas L. Robinson for his prototype called the Autonomous Electricity Generator. I said it would be a generator. It's probably like just a self-contained unit. This policy partially covers the loss of the prototype for up to 50% of its value. That would cover a refund for his rail ticket. What's he complaining about? Maximum cover amount £15,000. Insurance duration 1 year renewable. Okay, found it. Alright, aha! Yes! I will not be denied conversation, sir. You will speak to me this instant.
According to this document, you have insurance for your prototype.
Oh, thank God. Where did you find it?
Near the telegraph station.
I must have lost it when I tried to send a message, which I was prevented from doing.
I apologise for that, but regulations state that public access to the telegraph is strictly prohibited.
Upon my word, you keep on digging that hole of yours. You have no idea who I am.
I see that you kept your grip sack with you. Why don't you leave it in the luggage room?
I've had other things to think about. I lost my prototype, and this idiot station master just stands here doing nothing to help.
Oh, but...
Well, that won't do at all. Station master, I believe that the regulations state that any passenger luggage should be taken to the luggage room.
I'll do it right away, sir. Sorry, sir.
This Robinson is quite a character. We should learn more about him.
Oh, well then. We just guilt-tripped that poor young man into taking the guy's luggage to the luggage room so he can, at least the guy feels like he's being tended to now. And we can sneak in and have a look. What are you hiding, sir?
This grip sack belongs to Mr. Robinson.
I think we should open it, Holmes. This is what they call force majeure. I'll keep watch.
Of course.
All right. So we've got 2 pins on the end there. I've found that if you look at like the far left or right, these little bits here, it's better to line these up than try to line all the gaps up in the middle. This one doesn't seem to have a corresponding map to that though. Look at that, that's weird. Try the one on the right. Okay. One of them was a red herring. The game's on to me now. It's like, oh, you think you figured it out, did you? But you found an easy way to do it? No.
Look, Watson. A bundle of contracts. Very suspicious. We should study them carefully.
Yes, indeed. This is an exclusive sales contract.
An exclusive sales contract.
Well, he said he was looking for buyers. Regarding the prototype invention dedicated to the appliance supplying electricity in an autonomous way, Emerson Electric Company, the buyer, understands that they are purchasing this device as is or in an agreement that Mr. Thomas L. Robinson, the seller,
is the seller,
which that confirms everything he said so far, is not responsible for any problems that may arise with the prototype after the purchase, whether or not those issues were known by either party at the time of purchase. This wouldn't be a valid contract under today's retail laws. I'm just going to say that. There's no guarantee or anything like that. It is actually, the seller's responsibility to be responsible whether it was known or not if there was a fault with it. But anyway, the buyer is obliged to make payments in amount of 10% of the prototype price in advance upon signing the contract, so 10% deposit. The remainder should be transferred within 1 month. Okay. And then we've got another one here. Interesting. Exclusive sales contract regarding the prototype invention, blah blah blah. Hong Kong General Electric Company, the buyer, understands they are purchasing the device as is in agreement with Mr. Thomas L. Robinson, not responsible, etc., etc. That's all the same, so it's just filling in the different names of the buyers. Making payments of 10% upon signing the contract. So the same signature here, different one there. So these are already signed. And he was going to sell the prototype to multiple people? What? I think not. Especially not if it's an exclusive sales contract.
Exclusive
That's not what
sales
exclusive
contract.
means. The Barcazas Chilean company, the buyer, understands they are purchasing the device as is in agreement.
Mr. Robinson is the seller.
Well, he told us that the Barcazas Corporation had agreed to meet with him later. But here we have a signed document stating they already agreed to buy it. He's lying to us. See, this is why we don't rush in and pick what we thought was going on. He might be the villain. It might have been left on by accident. Oh. They could have been left on by accident, right? And then he wants to sink his prototype, claim his insurance, and walk away with 10% of everyone who put down a down payment to buy the damn thing. Oh, this has just given us a whole new idea. I mean, now he's up to 30% of the value of the machine. What's interesting as well is the contracts are all written on different, like, paper letterheads. There's no, you know, it's not using the same paper for each contract, but he would have drawn these up because these are all the same wording.
Yet another exclusive sales contract.
Okay. So this is with the Medicine General Electric Company, the buyer. From
Mr.
him.
Robinson is the seller. Well, it is very clear that this Mr. Robinson received prepayments from various people for his machine.
Interesting.
All these trains and railway stations.
So this could have been an insurance scam by him. You see, yeah. Okay. He told him... he told us the reason he got off the train is because the station master came to him with a telegram stating... Well, first of all, here we are. I'm a businessman and an engineer. I had already found several potential customers, but these are actually signed contracts. That's not a potential customer. That's a confirmed buyer. And he was very optimistic about the directors who were travelling on the train for the Barcazas company. He'd made an appointment with them, but now they're lost. Why did he need to appoint with them if they'd already signed the contract? They showed interest. Well, I mean, sure, signing a contract is showing interest, but he's leading us to believe they hadn't agreed on anything yet. They wanted to know more. And he was travelling alongside it. He stepped off the train because of the stupid station master. Then he says, I received a telegram declaring that an important person, a Mr. Bromsby, wished to see you at the waiting room. I merely informed you of this. Assume that then that the Mexicans wanted to get him off because the Barcazas Corporation guys were the target. How would they have known that a Mr. Bromsby would lure him off? And then why did he not get back on the train, even if it was going to leave? He just had to step on and say, oh, well, you know, he wouldn't leave his prototype just to trundle off like that. He would have got on the train, right? If Mr. Bromsby never showed up. That doesn't add up to me. That never did add up to me, actually. But I thought, well, okay, maybe he's just that greedy and stupid, but he wouldn't let his prototype trundle off without him. Oh god, we've got 3 now, look. I guess we should go speak to the guy and pull his story apart. Well, first of all, let's link these together. Prototype has an insurance, and many customers, a special wagon. Okay. The loss of the prototype will bring a lot of easy money to Mr. Robinson thanks to the insurance and multiple fraudulent exclusive contracts. This is true. Okay, can we also... Prototype has many customers and the special wagon also links together. Okay, right. Robinson is a victim. The loss of his machine is a disaster for him. Even though he planned this fraud, he's lost far more than he could gain. The insurance will not cover the total cost of the prototype. No, but he does have 4 signed contracts owing to 10%. And of course, you know, making no like guarantees of the state of the product, or even like the delivery of it. You owe me 10% now, is what these contracts are all about. So you can still claim those later and say, no, I need that 10% still. They signed an agreement. Alright. I think he's got a motive here, which suddenly means the Mexicans didn't hold a grudge. But why the barge? You know, why would there be a Mexican barge? Maybe they were just in the area and he's worked out a deal with them. Maybe they are in some kind of cahoots. And the Chileans were not left. This was an accident. No, he would have known. He got off the train as well. He would have known they were on there, right? If we choose that anyway, it does lead to another alternative. But Robinson would have known they were on there. Not necessarily, though. He could have assumed they just got off anyway while he went to do his little bit of, oh, you know, I'm going to go meet a Mr. Bromsby. So Robinson is a swindler. And he had it loaded into the mine. I still think it's in the mine. I don't think it's in the quarry. I think that the railway ties stolen from Evesham were brought across on a barge from the lake over the flooded quarry that they had flooded by using the shovels from the Chesterfield station. They sailed them across to Doncaster, bribed the guy to look the other way while they went up the track to the mine, laid the new track into the mine. They then staged everything at Bridlington, sent the train on its way to the mine, caved it in. It's missing. It's gone. Done. And it's an insurance fraud. And the Chileans were left on the train by accident. That could be what's happened here. It was all about money. Mr. Robinson is a financial swindler. With the aid of his minions, he sealed the train and his fake machine underneath the collapsed mine to make a fortune from multiple contracts and insurance claims. So blind justice would be, he's a guileful man who would not hesitate to sacrifice lives for personal gain, contract the Strad, and allow the police to perform their loud and swift justice before he plans a new swindle. In truth, he's just a vampire. The blood we saw back at the base camp, that was where he bit someone's neck. I think you're onto something there, Shy. Oh, it's a political game. Robinson is a swindler, but he's a famous man of influence. Direct confrontation isn't advisable. It would be preferable to accept Mycroft's political means of resolving the situation, even at the expense of justice. Well, that's one potential. Let's see if we can keep this and look at. Let's analyze and see if it's actually in the sunken quarry instead, because they could have brought it across on the barge and then just tipped it over. But that's really hard to do. What they're going to do? Just push it off? No, you don't do that. Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, we'll say that the train did pass Chesterfield, so it's not in the mines. Which means that they used the ties to make a railway to the quarry instead, which they then probably ran it over and then flooded it. Meanwhile, the Mexicans did blow up the mine for sabotage reasons, yep. So the train could be sunk in the quarry. It has been sunk. It missed Doncaster. Robinson has a motive. This doesn't add up though then. It would be just as equally likely that Robinson had it sunk in the quarry as he did, or at least, you know, equally doable, viable. Not likely in my opinion, but viable that he would have had it sunk in the quarry as well. What about the Mexicans are angry? And they were left unintentionally. Dual conspiracies. No, it's a Mexican trap. But Robinson, that shouldn't jive up. Robinson should have no motive then. Because otherwise he's involved, right? Yeah, so we've found and utilised all the clues in the case. So there's nothing else to find now. See, this to me would have said that Robinson allied with the Mexicans to form this plot. He gets an insurance swindle out of it. They get revenge. It still doesn't make sense to me that they would sabotage the mine, but then drown them in the quarry. They'd have just left the mine alone. So that to me, it's not in the quarry. I don't think it is at all. So it really comes down to whether or not it's the Mexicans who did it, or whether it's Robinson. I mean, for this to work, the prototype would have had to vanish. You can't do an exclusive sales contract to 4 people with 1 prototype and hope to pull it off unless it vanishes. Unless he knew there was ill fate to the train, and he wouldn't have left it to trundle off on its own unless that was already planned. He would have got back on the train instead of waiting for Mr. Bromsby. He just would have.